The Joker's intelligence is maybe the most underplayed aspect of the clown's characterization. While he's not quite at the top of the list of IQ-wielding villains, it's only through the Joker's meticulous planning and eye for fine detail that any of his dastardly plans end up working out. Perhaps more importantly, the Joker's surprising level of emotional intelligence means he's able to manipulate both friend and foe supernaturally well. Combine this with a penchant for chemistry, and it's easy to see that the main reason the Clown Prince of Crime is such a threat is down to his seemingly endless capacity to be cunning. So with that in mind, I'm Will for What Culture, and here are 10 times Joker outsmarted everyone. Number 10. Making the Batman Who Laughs. With the Batman Who Laughs currently being the trendy new villain on the scene, it's only fair to give credit to the man responsible for making him, none other than the Joker himself. The villainous Bat would be created in an alternate universe where the chemicals that created the Joker would corrode further at his morals, requiring him to be put down by the Batman. Unfortunately for him, the clown's death would release a special version of the Joker toxin, which would twist the Dark Knight into his new evil form. Interestingly, while this series has Batman state that the Joker had no idea what would happen to him after his death, the Batman Who Laughs spin-off series suggests heavily that he would have been aware, given that the main universe's Joker knows all these details without ever being told. There are a few other plans that manage to sabotage the Dark Knight's life so well, as not only does the Joker corrupt one version of Batman, but he does so in a way where this twisted bat goes on to ruin the lives of countless other heroes. Number 9. Becoming a good guy. Batman White Knight. With the Joker having faked turning good so many times in his dynasty of delinquency, very few people had their hopes up for Jack Napier becoming a legitimate hero in Batman White Knight. This in mind, the Joker's plan to actually reform can be seen to have outsmarted even some readers, as it seemed so dang unlikely that the whole thing wasn't some elaborate evil ploy. It's an interesting one because in deciding to try and genuinely reform, Jack also outsmarts both the entire Bat family and his former allies in Batman's Rogues Gallery, as both groups spend most of the comic convinced that the whole thing is just a ruse. While Jack does eventually revert to his villainous ways, it's only because the medicine he has been taking to repress his evil urges becomes ineffective, meaning that otherwise his gambit to become a hero could have been his best plan to date. Number 8. Getting Superman to kill Lois Lane. Injustice. More than anything, Injustice is a series about just how bad the world could get if any of the Joker's plans were to actually be successful, as Injustice follows an alternate universe wherein the Joker manages to make Superman kill his pregnant wife Lois Lane by subjecting him to a toxin that makes the Man of Steel think that she is Doomsday. Launching his supposed enemy into outer space, Superman realizes just too late that something is wrong, leaving him confronted with the sight of his dead wife after the toxin wears off. Not only does this mean the Joker well and truly outsmarted Superman, but the ensuing chaos means he outsmarted pretty much everyone on Earth by creating a scenario that he knew would cause conflicts between the world's superheroes. Number 7. Becoming an Iranian diplomat. A death in the family. All questionable plot points aside, the Joker's decision to become an Iranian ambassador is one of the smartest and wildest plans we've ever seen from the clown, as were the Joker to still have been just another costumed crook, nobody would have batted an eyelid were the Bat to brutalize or even kill him, especially after the clown had just killed Jason Todd. Become an ambassador, however, and the whole thing gets much more complicated, as superheroes beating down on officials of foreign countries could lead to conflict between said locations, and possibly even prompt a war. This diplomatic immunity serves to protect Joker for quite some time, to the point that he has to literally try and blow up the UN for Batman and Superman to finally go after him. Number 6. Breaking his own neck. The Dark Knight Returns. While breaking your own neck doesn't sound like the world's best way to get one over on your worst enemy, against all logical odds, the Joker manages to pull this off, snapping his spinal cord in order to get one last victory over the Dark Knight. After all, with their final fight taking place in a dark cave containing only the two of them, few are likely to believe that Batman didn't just finally snap and decide to murder his longtime rival. Indeed, with The Dark Knight Returns being set in a future where most people are struggling to trust in the Bat, the Joker's last deed ensures that this distrust remains alive and well forever. Number 5. Shooting Barbara Gordon, the killing joke. The Joker's decision to shoot and paralyze Barbara Gordon in The Killing Joke is generally only discussed in terms of how evil it was, which is undeniably fair because it is one of the most shocking acts of violence in comic history. Because of this, however, people often ignore just how smart a move it is in terms of one-upping the entire Gotham Police Department and the Dark Knight. After all, shooting the daughter of the police commissioner is the smartest way to try and break him, and the psychological destruction of Jim Gordon would naturally have a knock-on effect for both the GCPD and for Batman himself. Even when Jim doesn't fall into insanity as the Joker had hoped, the clown's plan still kind of works, as it's clear the commissioner isn't going to walk out of the whole experience without some trauma that will likely affect his ability to lead the city's police force. Number 4. Saving Batman's life. Batman Europa. As much as the Joker is a villain through and through, this doesn't mean that all of his smartest moves have to be wholly immoral. This is best proved in Batman Europa, where the purple and green murder machine actually saves the Dark Knight's life by shooting a grappling hook for him to hold on to after the Bat falls off a roof. While all this seems unusually wholesome for the Clown Prince of Crime, it does appear to have pragmatic roots. The Joker is aware that whoever poisoned him and his brooding bestie did so for a reason, and thus he bites down on his murderous desires in order to make sure he has a better chance of living. Not only does this technically equal outsmarting Bane, the mastermind behind the whole plan, but it also briefly results in the Joker outsmarting Batman, who appears to think that the clown may be reforming throughout the series. Spoiler alert, he very much isn't. Number 3. Stealing Mr. MXYZPTLK'S powers. Superman, Emperor Joker. Given that the plot of the Emperor Joker series revolves around the Clown Prince having stolen almost limitless powers from Mr. MXYZPTLK, it seems only fair to say the Jester outsmarted him pretty hard. After all, Mixie only intended to give the Joker 1% of his power, but due to the clown's conniving nature, he would accidentally give him 99% of his powers instead, leading to the Joker recreating the entire world in accordance with his whims. But this isn't where the outmaneuvering ends, as the Joker ensures that his reinvented universe isn't threatened by recreating each member of the Justice League without the traits that make them a hero, just to ensure his rule has a level of safety to it. While this plan is naturally foiled at the end by Superman and Batman's joint efforts, this technically doesn't mean the Joker lost, as he still managed to cause endless chaos along the way, which was his primary goal in the first place. Number 2. Poisoning the Justice League and then killing Batman. Batman Endgame. As far as cunning plans go, the Joker's plot within Batman Endgame is one of the most challenging that the clown has ever tried to carry out. Firstly, it requires that he outsmart the entire Justice League by infecting them with tailor-made Joker toxin, specially crafted for each member. Secondly, it dictates that he successfully disguise himself as an orderly from Arkham Asylum well enough and for long enough that he is able to gain the Dark Knight's trust, which is no easy feat. With such a carefully choreographed plan, it's perhaps no surprise the whole thing works as the Joker intended, resulting in the brief death of Batman himself. Number 1. Highlighting the flaws of the media. Joker's Asylum, The Joker. For any fan of the Clown Prince of Crime, the Joker's Asylum series is a must-read, especially the issue that's centered around the Jester himself. This is because the comic contains perhaps the single smartest plan the Joker has ever gotten away with, which involves the villain breaking into a live game show and psychologically torturing its contestants. The masterstroke of this plan is revealed towards the end of the comic, where it's then revealed that he had set the whole thing up to show how corrupt the TV station itself was, was, as it continued to air his awful antics in order to try and get more views and thus more money. The plan is made all the better for the fact that it doesn't involve any violence, as it shows the clown isn't carrying out this plot for kicks, but rather to get a message across. And for once, it's a message that's hard to argue with. And there you have it, folks, 10 times the Joker outsmarted everyone. Feel free to drop this video a like if you enjoyed it, and drop me a follow on Twitter at YouSlyDogU. I'm Will for What Culture, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.